Today is Wednesday, the 28th of August, 2019. I'm Keith War, and welcome to another episode of Homeless in Titusville. And today I'm being joined by, what is your name, sir?
Roy Estep.
And how do you spell your last name there, Roy?
E-S-T-E-P.
And your name, ma'am?
Shari Estep.
Okay. And are you guys brother, sister? Are you married? Are you cousins?
Married.
You guys are married. And how long?
And we weren't related before that.
Oh, so not a traditional Florida couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got family in Palatka and Lockenhagen, but we don't talk about them.
Okay. Oh. So you did not marry your sister or your first cousin, which is customary here in these parts.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married?
20 years.
21.
21 years.
21 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have any children?
We have one daughter. She's 20. She lives in Orlando.
Okay. How long has she been out on her own?
Since she was for a year.
Yeah, about
over a year now.
So when she became an adult, she pretty much decided she wanted to go on her own.
Well, when we got evicted from our apartment, we tried to find someplace else to put her so that she didn't have to go through this with us.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. How long have you guys been homeless?
Ever since Hurricane Irma, pretty much.
So that's, what, 2 years now? Going on 2 years?
Going on there.
So what have you done the past 2 years? Like, where have you bounced around? Have you been living in a car, at a campground?
Well, once we got evicted, we had no idea what to do. We ended up, because I was working, we ended up getting a down payment together, and we got ourselves a van, and we were living in the van. I was working 2 jobs for a while there, but I couldn't keep that up because that was just too many hours on top of, not being able to sleep.
Right. Yeah, you have to be able to function.
If they see your van sitting in one place for too long, they have to make you move it. Otherwise, they're not doing anything about the homeless problem in Titusville.
Right. And how about you? Have you worked or held a job, or what's your work situation?
I worked all the way up until my accident in '97. I was a cashier.
Okay.
I was actually working at the time of my accident.
And what's going on now? Do you have like a settlement that pays you the rest of your life? Do you get Social Security disability?
I get Social Security disability.
Okay. So you have health insurance.
Yes.
You have the ability to see a doctor and whatnot. And how about you? Do you have health insurance, or the supposed Obamacare, as it's known on the streets?
No. The only notice I got from the whole Obamacare situation was a threatening letter saying that I could be facing criminal charges if I don't find money to pay for health insurance. So.
Yeah, a lot of people are in this situation.
I sent him a letter back with my address. Said, here I am.
I mean, there's people that are in jail that get health care, so I mean, what are you going to do? Scoop everyone up who can't and then give them free health care in jail? Doesn't quite seem right.
No.
Or logical or sustainable, because then who's out in the workforce paying taxes and so on and so forth, But I don't want to dive into politics and all that kind of stuff, but so tell me, where have you guys been existing for the past 2 years since Hurricane Irma?
Well, we've been trying to survive in our van. We had it set up pretty good. We had a cooler set up. We had a small little 2-burner electric stove. We had a microwave. We had a small convection oven. We had a bed set up in the back so that she could stretch out and lay down. We had dog beds. I mean, we had everything in there we needed. It was like a little miniature weekend warrior mobile.
And what happened to it?
I wrapped it around a pole on the 15th of this month.
So you just recently lost, and did you have any insurance on it whatsoever?
We were told we had full coverage through Esurance, but it turns out that their version of full coverage is not what most people would think of when they think of full coverage. It wouldn't even cover the last 1/3 of the payments we owed on the van still.
How old was the van?
It was a 2000 Pontiac Montana, and we owed $835 on it still.
On a 20-year-old vehicle, you still owed. On a 20-year-old vehicle.
Well, the person we bought it from Nash Family Automotive, the guy was really, he's a good guy. He really is, because instead of hassling us, every week, where's my payment, he understood our situation. And there were weeks where he would literally take $10 or $5, or if that's all I had, he'd take $2 and he'd mark it towards it. So he was letting us really chunk it down to what we could afford instead of what we were just supposed to pay.
It's highly unusual, so you got lucky.
Yeah, we really did, because we could only get together $400 for a down payment to begin with.
How much was the van to begin with?
I believe it was,
like, what was the price on the window when you bought it?
I believe it was $2,200.
And you've owned it for how long now?
We had it for just about 2 years.
Okay.
So he was really, he was taking almost nothing and letting us hold on to it just, to keep us in somewhere. And every time we'd be in there, well, it's coming down a little bit. Every little bit helps. So.
And how about work? What kind of work have you been doing the past 2 years to pay the payment on it?
I worked for a little over a year at Dogs R Us as a dishwasher. I did dishwasher, bar back. I did busser. Whatever they needed me to do, I did.
Right.
And then for a little while, I was also doing prep work and grill operator, cooking and whatnot over at Wayback Burgers. And I couldn't do both at the same time.
But you were for a while.
I was for a while, yeah. I was for a few months. And it just turned out to be unsustainable because I had to sleep sometime.
Right.
Because they only had me as a closer over at Dogs R Us, which meant sometimes I didn't get out of there till 2 o'clock in the morning.
So do you have a job now? Are you employed?
No, I actually lost my job this month as well.
And why did you lose your job?
I had an accident, not at work. It was not work related at all, and I ended up getting real bad cuts on my fingers and hands here, and I could not work because of the stitches and everything else. And I came in late because I had to get my stitches took care of, and I was fired for being late. Apparently I was late a little too often. So
was that you kind of had some bad behavior prior to the accident? Like, did you play hooky a lot? Did you call off a lot?
No, not at all.
You didn't? Okay.
No, we needed every dollar we could get, and working was the only way I could see to get money.
Right.
So I was trying to get as many hours as I could, but my hours just kept getting cut further and further back. I just, living in the vehicle, we had electrical problems with it, so we couldn't always charge our phones in there, and sometimes my phone wouldn't go off first thing in the morning, or if I worked really late over at Dogs R Us, I was late the next morning because just slept right through the alarm. Because closing dishes, that's a job.
Right.
That's a job.
Right. And how much do you receive a month from Social Security?
$755.
Okay, so you get, I think it's SSI, not SSDI, because
I get Social Security and SSI.
Okay, and how about, do you get food stamps? Do you get any of that kind of assistance?
We're getting $15 a month in food stamps.
$15. I mean, that's 50 cents a day. That's 25 cents each. I mean, you could have a steak every other year.
Yeah.
Every other year, you could afford a steak.
Well, it gets us a cup of ice from Cumberland Farms, a piece.
Right, and you had no stove, you had nowhere to cook this food, you had no refrigerator to keep anything, and you got a whole $15. That's just amazing. So, how about now? Do you still receive the food stamps?
Yeah, we still get $15.
You still get the $15.
We explained to them our new situation with me losing my job, and I wrecked my van 6 days after I lost my job, which was perfect timing. But, it happens. We'll just keep moving forward. But,
have you guys applied for any kind of housing, for like Section 8 and all that kind of stuff?
Section 8, housing for the homeless, the Coalition for the Hungry and Homeless. We're trying to get on the list for the, what is the name of that program? Everybody helps build everybody else's houses.
Habitat for
Habitat for Humanity. We've tried the sharing center because we know they have transitional housing. I mean, we've been working. I've been working pretty much the whole time we've been out here, and since before, to try to make the money we need to get back in somewhere, anywhere at this point.
Right.
And it's just really hard right now. Prices for apartments is through the roof.
Yes. Right, because there's all this speculation about SpaceX and jobs, and of course, people want to make as much money as they can, but then that forces people out who don't make a living wage.
Anybody that works in the food industry.
Right. There was a study done about 3 years ago now, and it said for a single person in Orlando to survive, you need to make $16.78. Okay, that was just for a single person to be able to have that was for existing, not for living, because you would admit there's a difference between living life and existing through life, right?
Yeah.
Because right now you're just existing.
Yeah, we're just here.
Right. Right. You don't have anything. You don't own anything. And how about a job now? Do you have any prospects? Have you gone out looking for a job?
I am looking for a job. I am actively hunting for a job. My biggest holdback right now is actually trying to find a safe place where I can put my wife and the 2 dogs during the day so that I can work.
Right.
Because they're disabled. They can't defend themselves if something weird happens. Which,
So
it's Titusville, but, bad stuff happens anywhere.
Right. Let me pose this question to you, and certainly I don't want people to take this the wrong way or to think I'm being heartless, because I'm not being heartless. But I've seen this happen in other situations where somebody can have a place to live and whatnot, but they have to they had to let go of the animals. Are you prepared for your welfare and her welfare to have somewhere like if you had to give the animals up, or if you had to let somebody foster the animals, would you guys do that to be able to get off the street?
Well, one of our dogs, Kira, she is rehomeable. They're both rescues, and one of them, we could rehome her. She's friendly. She makes a lot of noise, but she's friendly. She's a good dog. She's just real nervous. Takes time for her to get to know people.
Okay.
The other one, which is also a rescue, she is absolutely a one family, one owner dog. If we give her up, it's only to have her put down, and that's it. That's the only option there. And I don't think I can kill her just, for no reason.
But if you're in that situation, I understand feeling that way, but how could you then know that your wife is not safe? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you find a job, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I understand they're like family. I have animals too, and I'm not judging you for that. I'm just posing that to you because this is like a concern. This is coming up before, and really, you have to put human beings first,
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
I've heard people say that,
and you do, and I think you seem pretty reasonable. I think probably if it came down to it, you probably would choose your wife over the dog. I mean,
Oh, I'd choose my wife over the dog. Yeah.
Right.
But
wife will bring me a beer. No, I'm just kidding. I don't drink.
I know.
The big dog of ours, Coco, she's actually she's more like a helpful companion for me. Whenever
She's a guard dog.
I get that, and
she's a guard dog.
I do. I'm just saying
that
I'm just saying if the situation arises and somebody says, "Oh, we got a place for you. We'll take you in, whatever." Oh, but sorry, no animals allowed. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the situation I'm talking about. So
it would definitely be something to think long and hard about,
right.
Because up till now, my attitude's always been, if my dog doesn't like you, I probably won't either, But then Kira's okay, but Coco doesn't like anybody but us.
So let me ask you, you're saying the hurricane and whatnot's what caused you to be homeless and whatnot. Did you get any help from FEMA?
They said they were going to help us, but then they just disappeared.
Like, what was it? Where were you living at the time?
We were living at the River Breeze apartments.
Okay. And was it a matter of because of the hurricane you couldn't go to work and then pay your rent? Or like, how did this happen? Or was your unit damaged to the point where you couldn't live in it?
We had a lot of water damage on the inside. We lost pretty much everything we owned. Mm-hmm. All our clothes, electronics and stuff. I didn't even care.
Right.
You can get a TV. You can get a TV at the thrift stop.
Right.
Nobody cares. Right. But We lost all our clothes. We lost almost all our we lost all the important things and the things we needed to live. But it also put a damper on me, you know, working. I could not work at that time because with my wife's health situation, with all the heat and the humidity and everything after the storm goes through, people that have never been through a hurricane or the aftermath, they don't really understand that once the storm blows through, it takes all of the weather with it, and you're left with nothing but crystal clear skies and heat all day long, and there's no breeze, no break, no nothing, and she can develop breathing problems really quickly.
So did you lose your job at that point in time and then get behind on everything?
I was actually about to be hired at the Wendy's that used to be right up the road here, but it actually was destroyed by the hurricane too.
Right.
And
And
that's when you got the job at
that's when I got the job at Dogs R Us, and I was working, but I hadn't gotten any paychecks yet. By the time it was already too late, he was filing the proceedings. And what made it really fun was one of the months that he claimed we didn't pay him, we actually had a notarized canceled check, a certified copy of the canceled check for the months that he said we didn't pay, where it had already gone through his account, which was paid.
Okay.
So I filed the motion to determine rent to, you know, make sure that if he's going to claim that we didn't pay and try to get the money out of us, that he's at least getting the correct amount and not trying to overreach and take more than he should.
Right. And it could have just been an honest mistake. I don't know. You don't know. I don't know what the situation is.
That's why I've left it up to the court to decide what to do with it.
Right. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I got a letter back about 2 weeks after I filed the motion, along with a copy of the check to show them, look, I paid this.
Right.
And they just went ahead and did a summary judgment against us, didn't give us our day in court, nothing.
So,
and they still say that we owe him for the months that I already paid.
So you have an eviction on your record, or you don't have an eviction?
We do have an eviction.
You have an eviction. And if you could rent a place, how much can you afford in rent right now? What's your budget? Have you thought about that? Do you have a budget? Do you have a dollar amount in your mind?
Well, we're looking at a partially retrofitted bus right now that we're going to finish converting out into a motorhome, and there's a local campground that we can stay for, what, $600 a month? And that would at least get us off the street in something, if not someplace.
Right.
And it would be a solid base of operations to find a job, work, earn some money, get things back on track, make sure everything's paid off that's supposed to be paid off, so that we can move forward with our lives and actually have a life, and maybe even look for a better job as I'm working.
And we had to restart this video, so I'm not sure on this subject matter if I asked you this time, but what had you gone, like, have you guys applied for help through the churches, through the government, through the state, Section 8? Like,
we've applied for everything we could find online, every online resource we could find. We called 211. One of the operators from 211 still calls us periodically, wanting to know how we're doing and, you know, if we found something, even asking us if, you know, we found a resource that they don't know about that they can add to their list or something.
Right.
Which, if I find something, I'll be glad to help out, you know, whatever I can do.
Right. So tell me about your day-to-day living right now on the street. Like, what is the biggest thing you guys are struggling with since the loss of the van? Like, where do you stay all day? Like,
we were staying in the parks during the day, but every park we stop at, we get thrown out of.
Because?
It's either because of the dogs or because they don't want homeless people hanging around and making the place look bad.
Okay. Have you ever gotten any of those pink trespass notices?
Thankfully, I've been able to talk smooth enough to avoid the actual paperwork.
Okay.
That way, once we get our situation sorted out, we can go back to the parks to just enjoy a picnic or something. And if they say something, I can say, hey, here's proof. We're not homeless no more. We got our stuff straight. We're just, you know, regular humans now. We're not subhuman anymore.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel like you're not treated like everyone else? Do you feel like you're treated like a second-class citizen?
Oh man, I would be happy to have my status elevated to marginalized at this point. Because everywhere we go, it's not even so much just the official people, the Brevard County Parks people throwing us out of places because they don't want us there, or the police coming in and throwing us out because some actual citizen complained about us being there during the day when the park is open, which I thought it was a public park, and I'm still a member of the public.
Right.
But it's like, even when you're walking down the road, just minding your own business, trying to go, like, if you need to fill up your water jug so that you don't die of dehydration out here in this heat, people will drive by and yell obscenities at you or throw trash at you. Just a few days ago, I got hit in the side of the head by a water bottle. Thankfully, it was mostly empty, but people throw trash at you. We're just part of the trash now.
How about your nights? Where do you guys lay your head at night? Where do you sleep? I don't want you to give an actual location. I do not want you to do that.
Well, we've been thrown out of a few campsites already just since the 15th.
What do you mean by a campsite? Do you mean like a KOA site? Do you mean another homeless camp? What are you talking?
We try to find places away from actual what you would consider a homeless camp, because those draw a lot of attention.
Right.
But we try to find little places in patches of woods or, a copse of trees or something like that where you can't see us. We have a small tent that we can all fit into, and we'll set it up, sleep for the night, pack it all up, and, we're out again in the morning, so that we're not in the same place all the time, but they always seems to be somebody that spots us in there and calls the cops because we're bringing their property values down.
Do you guys feel safe? Do you feel safe out here on the streets? Have you been attacked? Have you been threatened?
We've been threatened quite a bit. Nobody's been brave enough to try and attack us yet.
By other homeless? By other people? Like,
the other homeless around here are kinder and more gentle people than a lot of the citizenry running around. I think it's because they have a more intimate understanding of the actual situation we're in. They know it because they're in it too, and it always seems like the poorer we are, the more we share. Because you got to work together. There's not a whole lot of other people that are going to work for us.
What's your guys' biggest need right now? What are you guys struggling with the most?
Well, I'm working on trying to get another vehicle so that we've at least got someplace we can lock the door while we sleep.
Right.
I need to find work. I'm not going to ask for money. I want to work for money. I want to earn my own money.
Right, absolutely.
Because that's the only way you're going to get ahead. You're not going to get ahead by begging, because that's no way to have a sustainable income.
Right, absolutely.
You might get 5 cents from this guy because he's mad, just throws what he has in his pocket at you, and you might have somebody else that's kind and gives you $5. But if you work, at least you know how many hours you're getting, you know how much money you're going to get, you can budget, and you can plan.
Right.
And now I just need someplace. I just need to be able to have her somewhere safe so that I can actually work.
So we're about to wrap this up, but is there anything you want the public to know about your situation right now? Is there anything we haven't covered that you think is important that people should know about your situation?
The most important thing I think people should really understand is how quick and easily it can happen to anybody. We lived in the same apartment for over 8 years, and working the whole time, everything was going great, and then all of a sudden, storm came through, lost the jobs, lost everything, and 2 years later, we're still trying to get it back.
And now we're facing another hurricane this weekend.
Yeah.
Sunday night.
And we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with that.
They do open the shelter up there on Singleton by the airport.
We have one place that we might be able to hunker down. It's a very solid building. I'm not going to say where,
and they open up the schools and things like that too.
But we'll be able to actually bring our dogs in there. So.
Oh, so the issue is the dogs there again. The dogs. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. You guys have a lot of different challenges, a lot of stuff going on.
We'll get through it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah. Right. You have no other choice. You have to do what you got to do. If you had any friends or family that might see this video, do you have any messages to any of them? Or
Hi, Mom.
okay.
She lives around here somewhere. I haven't actually spoken to her in quite a few years.
Plus, not to mention that I was already disabled already, and then this car accident, I'm all beat up all over again. It's just hard getting around.
She got a fractured tailbone out of it, and she can't walk. We had been, having to move her around in a
family that can take you in right now.
None. We had a wheelchair for her, but she couldn't sit in the wheelchair because it was putting too much pressure on the broken tailbone. So she's having to walk, and that's aggravating her back and her nerve damage real bad. And literally, we're just moving from one park bench on the side of the road to the next so that she can rest in preparation to go to the next one.
All right, guys. Well, hey, listen, you guys can reach out to me, and you guys can become a member of the Homeless in Titusville Facebook page. I'm going to ask them to do the same. If you have a resource or you have something that might be able to help them, and you just want to, you just want to connect, you want to ask them some stuff, or I don't know, but you don't have to go through me. I don't have to be the middleman. You guys can reach out to them directly. You can also friend me on Facebook. I do accept all friend requests. You can find me at KEITHWOHR. Send me a private message, something more you want to know, something you want to ask, something you want to share. By all means, reach out. I'm open to that. And then, like I said, become another member of the Homeless in Titusville Facebook page to connect. And I appreciate you guys watching. And as always, end the video and say, may you be just as blessed as you've blessed others. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Now we don't even have a way to haul our junk around. The cart fell over and the wheel broke.
Wow. Wow. And are you in pain? Does that hurt?
All the time.
Yeah.
I have to take 4 Tylenol just to be able to eat something soft.
Oh boy.
And it's not from lack of care, it's just something that happens in my family. All of my family, once they hit their 30s, they just start crumbling and falling out.
I know, I've got a friend, he's a big churchgoer, and he looks like he's got meth mouth.
That's what I think he was saying. But like I said before, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I can't afford it, it's too expensive.